Hey there, Blip here, and today for you guys I have the Council of Blood Mythic fight, which I'm going to show you how to use your combustions, your timers, and I feel like that's quite important on this fight because you'll find that you don't know where to use your spells sometimes, and I just want to get this out there so I can help you guys out in that regard. I'll have Sludge Fist and also Shriekwing, which I should have had out a very long time ago soon, so if you want to see those bosses, be sure to check it out and I'll have those out very soon. But otherwise, yeah, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm doing it all the way up to Denethrius, which I'll then tell you how to do Denethrius, and then that's it, and this guide series will be done until the next tier comes around. Otherwise, let's get straight into it. So to start with, obviously the pool, we're going to just combust on pool, but I'm going to combust off the first fireball I cast here, because I want to get my combustion on cooldown insanely fast, because if I don't do that, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to waste some damage, because I'll have to wait for the attendant, or my ignite will get eaten up by the attendant, and you don't want that happening, so always combust off your fireball. I combust off my fireball because I don't want to have to use my trinkets a bit later. I like using my trinkets before the pool. Otherwise, you can do it however you want. You can combust off the Pyroblast if you want. I'm going to do it off the Fireball, requires less preparation, and you don't lose that much damage from it. I'm going to combust off it here, use my trinkets, and just get my damage in as soon as possible. As you see, the attendant is spawning soon, so I just ignore this attendant because we have a lot of damage going out right here, and I'm going to Shifting Power on it, and then I'll just be able to kill the boss. I don't even have to swap target because I know it's going to die when my Shifting Power ends. Otherwise, we're just continuing our damage here. Now, as you see, we're stacking up for a Sidle. Just going to pause the video here now. So as you can see, I got a red arrow. We have a Weakauras that makes this a lot easier for you than it needs to be, which simply means that whenever you get the recital, you'll go have a green arrow and you'll be moving around with your partner around the boss so the melee can keep DPSing. And whenever you don't get the recital, just have a red arrow, which means you can just get away from the group or move left. Because we always have the group with the recital move around the boss in the like a circle, which you'll see happening now. So as you can see here, unfortunately one person moved the wrong way to start with and died, and it happens sometimes. Otherwise, as you can see, yeah, we're just having the people move around. Now Mythic, there's one new mechanic that's been added, which is like a dance mechanic. We have to jump to drop the stacks, and then loads of people get the debuffs, like 5 or 6. And I'll tell you more about that later, but otherwise, I'm just using all my damage I have here. You can use one Phoenix Flames outside of your combustion on the boss here, but I have my, so I would have had 2 charges here when my combustion's coming up. I used one just for damage, because I know I'm not going to be able to DPS the boss for like 30 seconds here, so I could just use it and yeah, just get on with the fight. Every little bit of damage helps. If you're uncertain if you're going to have your Phoenix Flames up in time, just save them. Don't risk it, it's not worth it. Otherwise, yeah, now we're just doing the dance macabre. I'm just going to let you listen to some music while we're doing this dance. Now, as you can see, the dutiful attendant is about to spawn if you look at my boss meters, so I know I'm not going to combust on pool, but actually I am going to combust on pool, because I know that 3 seconds is enough time for me to get my combustion off before the attendant comes in, because as you saw, the cast just went off, but now the attendant has to run in, and he takes a while to get in. So as you can see, my combustion's finished, that is almost dead. I'm just shifting powering it down, and now I'm just going into boss. Now for you, it might be slightly different, because what could happen is that your timers are a lot different, or the attendant might actually just be up already, so make sure you really pay attention to that. I got greedy because I wanted my combustion on cooldown as soon as possible. I knew I couldn't really wait for that attendant because our damage is so high, and I need my combustion off cooldown as soon as we can attack the next boss, so I needed to get it off there. That's why I just went with it. I didn't hesitate, I just did it because I know I needed it as soon as possible. Another attendant is spawning here. We're not going to kill this boss, we're going to let it shield first, kill the attendant, and then we're going to kill off the boss. And then we're going to start killing the next boss, which is Stratos. And as you can see, my combustion is going to be up for it. And I'm just going to try and get a hot streak for the boss here. As you can see, I'm saving it. Unfortunately, I got the recital here. In this case, you can just try and put your Arena Power underneath the boss, and then you can move around. As you can see, I'm back in my Arena Power now. But that's one thing, you'll have to get used to using your combustion while moving, but it does really gimp your damage, and it can be unfortunate. You can't really hold your combustion for too long in this fight, so keep that in mind. Now recitals up again. As you can see, unfortunately I got it again. I could have held that Arena Power for a bit longer, but I didn't really want to, so I'm just scorching as I move around the boss, and I'm just going to get back in my Arena Power and continue casting. Attendant is spawning again. and have to swap to this one because the damage starts getting a lot more tough on these attendants as you start moving on. So make sure you're all helping out on the attendants. Fire mages don't really do too much damage to them, but yeah. Now you see there's lots of waiters spawning now. Some people do flame strike these, but I think it really depends on your group's damage. Our Boomkin can pretty much take care of all of these by themselves, and if we were to flame strike, we wouldn't have the boss damage to push the boss, so we don't really deal with them. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video here again. As you just saw, I had a dancing fever buff on me, right? This is basically the debuff on the raid, but you want to use it with healing cooldowns because it does a lot of damage. As you can see, the raid is taking a lot of damage from this buff. Basically what happens is, as you can see in the raid frames, like a bunch of people who get this debuff, you have 3 stacks and you need to jump 3 times to drop them all. Each stack is going to drop off a jump. Each jump is going to drop off one of the stacks, and simply, yeah, you just need to drop them. As a Fire Mage, we had the rule that we would always go first when it came to this, because obviously we need to jump, it's part of our rotation, especially in Combustion. Like, there's no doubt that I can't really do anything. I'm already jumping when the debuff comes in, so if that happens, it's unfortunate, but you just have to power through. If you see your raid is dying, then you're just going to have to not jump, that's just how it is. But otherwise, you always should be top on the priority list. Make sure your raid leader knows that if mages have it, you should be getting your debuffs dropped first, because there might be a time where you need to combust, and if you accidentally hardcast the Pyroblast, you're going to be losing a lot of damage. Otherwise, it's simply, that's all the like mythic mechanic. Now, the other thing you see on the screen right now is there's an after image of Baroness. Now, because we're doing it in this order, and we're killing Stravos second and Nicholas last, we're going to get this after image spawn. Basically, it's just an ad that will always spawn in the position you see right now, and you have to interrupt it. 3 interrupts is all it takes, and once the 3rd interrupt has gone off, the ad will despawn. But you have to make sure you have 1 person assigned for each of those, because if you don't and it goes through, you're probably going to wipe, because it is a lot of damage that cast does. It's like a volley on the raid. I have a Weakauras that will show you the 3 interrupts, and I have one that emphasizes mines, because I'm always the 3rd interrupt. Sometimes other people would take it, so I had to keep that in mind, but I would always go for it when I saw it was about to go through, and I never really missed, actually I never missed a single cast on my interrupt, because the emphasis really helped with that, and if you need that, I'll make sure to put a link in the description. Otherwise, as you can see, the ad is casting. I'm going to ignore it here because I'm combusting. If no one interrupts it though, I will take my interrupt. As you can see here, I'm going to just get that because I saw no one was going for it. Otherwise, yeah, just combusted. The boss is about to face now. I really need to get that combustion in because it's just helping to push the boss. And then you also will have your combustion up one more time when the boss spawns, so you can combust one last time because you roughly get about 1 combustion every 50% of their HP. Otherwise, just dancing again now. So as soon as the boss comes down, I'm just going to kill the attendant. Yeah, you saw I casted some spells into the boss there, accidental. Now the tank is going to call here when these dancers come down which way he wants the boss. He said go forward, so we're going to follow him forward here. And my combustion's up, I'm using it on cooldown. I know there's nothing going to stop me here. I'm just going to use my combustion. I'm going to maybe use my Phoenix Flames a bit later so I can spread a bit of my ignite to these waiters, but otherwise, yeah, I'm just going full boss. Boss damage is my priority here, going to use my shifting power. Keeping an eye on my interrupt now, I see that it's up. I'm just going to swap to it and get it, because it doesn't matter how fast you get your interrupt. If you get it done, like as I said, 3 casts is all it takes, and then that disappears. Otherwise now I'm just really desperate to get my combustion on cooldown as soon as possible, because I want to have my combustion up for the phase here. So we're going to have an attendant here, we're going to push the boss to like 2%, and then we're going to stop on him, wait for another attendant to come in, then we're going to kill that attendant, and we're going to bloodlust and kill the boss, and then go straight into bursting the next boss, because we need to get him low as soon as possible. So yeah, again, unfortunately here I got the recital, and it kind of sucks here because it's, yeah, there was not really anything to do. I couldn't DPS the boss because he wanted to slow down a bit, but I just did it on a few waiters to start killing those. My interrupt's up, just gonna go get that quickly. As soon as it's done, you can forget about it. Just make sure you know your interrupt. Okay, so you see we're waiting for the attendant now. We're just focusing waiters and flame striking some down. Otherwise, as you can see, the Boomkin is blasting them. He's the one soloing these waiters. We don't need to do damage to them. He can take care of them himself. If you're another class and you get benefits from DPSing his ads, then you can do it, but otherwise, yeah, just ignore them. As you can see, we're lusted now. Just gonna get a hot streak ready if I can. Okay, unlucky I didn't get a heating up, but still I can just combust into the boss tier now. So I'm just going to do as much damage as I can to this guy. As you can see, I did a Scorch because I wanted to actually extend my Phoenix Flames just for a bit so I could try and see if we would grip in the ads so I could spread my Ignite to them. Because we do sometimes grip in the ads there. And I'm going to chuck a Phoenix Flames here, as you can see, because I saw the boss got pushed back into those ads and I had a nice Ignite up so I could just spread it. Why not? Like, you know, Phoenix Flames is nice for single target damage, but it's also free AoE if you use it correctly. But I still want to have at least 2 charges for my Combustion, because single target is my priority here. Otherwise, we're just trying to push the boss. As you can see, it's starting to get really hectic now. Lots of waiters are spawning, the attendant is coming in, and you just have to really watch out here, because the attendant can really mess you up. As you can see on the outside, the tank is actually kiting the ad around, because if it attacks him, he'll get one shot. So we had to have like grips and stuff, as you just saw, to help the tank get around and kite the boss. Probably one of the hardest parts of the fight. We kill the attendant, and now we need to push the boss as soon as possible. He's about to spawn the next ad, as you can see, and now our tank just needs to live. We should have pushed the boss here, but we didn't, unfortunately. Tank's getting smacked, but we pushed the boss now. Now as soon as the dance recital hits here, these ads are doing nothing and we can DPS them. Unfortunately, I don't get a good spot, so I have to really edge forward here. Do not combust these, because you want your combustion now for the last burn of the boss, because that's the hardest part. You have so many attendants coming out, it's so hectic, you just want to kill the boss as soon as possible. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to really edge forward. It's a bit weird, as you can see, my fireballs are being a bit delayed for some reason when it comes to these guys. It's really weird and I have no idea, it's just like the dance mechanics, I guess. Either way, yeah, we just want to really kill these off before the boss finishes. As you can see here, I'm just going to get in range of the boss as soon as I can. Ads are dead, very nice. Now look at the timers, where's the attendant? There's no attendant. Alright, there is an attendant, okay. We'll kill the attendant, then I'll combust as soon as it's over. See, and luckily I got the recital here, so we just have to try and group up and do the recital here. But now as you can see, it's not a really good timer for me. I just have to combust anyway. So I might miss out on the combustion now because of that unlucky timing, but I had to do my combustion here. The attendant comes in. I'm just going to turn my combust on the last bit on this attendant here because he's obviously going to immune it. That's just unfortunate, unlucky timings. It happens. You just have to adapt here. See my interrupt in the back there? I'm just going to blink in and get that. I'm always keeping an eye on it. There's no way I'm going to miss that, because if I do, it's a wipe, and that is not a good look for you. Especially when you're in this last phase. As you can see now, we're just getting so many ads and it's just so hectic. This fight is honestly just insane towards the end here. So we just need to keep killing these attendants. The comms need to stay clear, and we need to call out whenever the attendant is coming, where it's coming from, and just keep DPSing the boss. So as you see here, I probably would have had another combustion up towards the end of this fight. Actually, I think I do get one, but I think it's kind of a scuffed one. Now you see at the end there, one person actually missed the interrupt. It wasn't mine, it was someone else's. Which is unfortunate because it almost caused us to wipe, but our healers are insane. We don't jump here, we have the Dancing Fever, but if we're jumping it would kill us. So no one's jumping here because it would have just absolutely destroyed the raid. So now I'm just combusting. It's a bit of a scuffed combust. I'm getting smacked by the ad there, you see. Unfortunate, I got podded, but the boss is dead. A really messy kill, but trust me, this fight is not clean in the slightest when you get into this last phase. This is how hectic it's probably going to be for you guys as well. So just really focus on those combustion timings. It'll take you a while probably to get used to the right ones, but when you get used to it, just stick with them. Keep an eye on that attendant spawning. Try and, do some casts and get your inner power as close to the boss if you have to move around while you're combusting with the dancing recital. Otherwise, that's all there is to this boss. I hope this really helps you out, and yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.